Your body was never meant to clench, but over time, it does. The vessels tighten, the flow slows, and deep inside, where no one sees, tiny knots begin to form. Doctors call them clots. You may feel them as stiffness, tingling, a breath that doesn't land all the way. But what if you could soften from within, not with force, but with fruit? Your blood is not just a red river, it's your warmth, your clarity, your memory, every cell, every toe, every thought. They're all waiting on whether your vessels stay open. But after 60, the body holds tighter, pressure rises, the flow fights to continue. What if, instead of fighting harder, we help it let go? Today I want to show you 5 fruits that don't just taste sweet, but know how to open what time is tightened. Watermelon, the fruit that sends flow back home. Sometimes the body doesn't need more pressure, it needs permission to release. That's what watermelon offers. It may seem simple, a summer fruit, light and familiar, but inside its red flesh lives citrulline, a natural compound that helps your body create nitric oxide, a messenger that tells your blood vessels, you can soften now. You don't have to hold so tight. It doesn't force the flow, it welcomes it. Like a window opened in a stuffy room, or a stream rejoining the riverbed. I had a man once who said, I started having watermelon after my morning walk. Didn't change anything else, but within days, the weight in my legs just faded. This fruit isn't just refreshing, it's releasing. It hydrates from the inside, but more than that, it reminds your vessels what it feels like to let go. And there's potassium in there too, quietly helping the body shed sodium, the mineral that often clings to where tension already lives. So, when you slice that watermelon, don't rush it. Let it chill. Let it glisten. Let it be more than food. Let it be flow. Because your blood doesn't want to fight its way through. It wants to glide. And watermelon is the fruit that says, come back to ease. Pineapple, the enzyme that unknots the blood. Some fruits arrive to sweeten, but pineapple arrives to release. Beneath its golden flesh lives bromelain, an enzyme that doesn't force or fight, but instead dissolves gently. Bromelain helps break down fibrin, the sticky thread that forms clots inside our blood. Not all at once, not with fire, but like fingers gently undoing a knot that's been held too long. I often think of pineapple as a kind of inner massage, not for your muscles, but for your circulation. One woman told me, I didn't change much, just started grilling pineapple in the evening. After a few days, the swelling in my hands eased. I felt unjammed. That's what this fruit does. It frees without disruption. It finds tension and softens it. But pineapple doesn't stop at enzymes. It also holds vitamin C to support vessel walls, and manganese to help process the very inflammation that makes the blood hold on. So eat it slowly. Let its juice meet your mouth, not just as sweetness, but as a loosening. Try it fresh, with a pinch of cinnamon, or warm it slightly, and let the fibers relax before they reach you. Because sometimes the blood isn't asking for power, it's asking for a way out. And pineapple opens a path where there was once tightness. Grapes, the vine, that calms the vessel. Walls. Some fruits grow with patience. Grapes don't rush. They grow in clusters, held together, nourished by the same vine, stretching slowly toward light. Inside, each grape is resveratrol, a compound that's less fighter, more comforter. It doesn't blast through the bloodstream. It wraps around your vessels like a soft vine around a weathered branch, not to tighten, but to shield. Resveratrol helps reduce oxidative stress, a kind of quiet erosion that happens with age. And when that erosion slows, your blood vessels stay smoother, softer, so clots have nowhere to grip. Think of grapes not as candy, but as guardians. One patient once told me, I started freezing grapes, just 5 or 6 after lunch. It became a ritual, something cool, sweet, and calming. That's what grapes bring, not drama, but stability. Eat them slowly, let their skins burst gently between your teeth. Taste the calm, feel the cool. This is not just hydration, this is vascular kindness. And here's something lovely. Grapes grow best in community. One grape alone won't thrive. It's the cluster, the vine, the shared root that makes them whole. Just like your body. Every system connected, every rhythm dependent on another. So when you eat grapes, maybe let it remind you, you don't have to untangle alone. You can soften with sweetness. Which part of your body feels slow lately? Heavy legs, foggy thoughts, a skipped beat? Let these fruits speak to that place. Not loudly, just enough. Blueberries, tiny guards at every junction. They look like something you might overlook. Small, round, almost too quiet to matter. But blueberries are not here to impress. They're here to protect. Inside their deep skin lives anthocyanin, a pigment with the power to do more than color. It guards the inner lining of your blood vessels, the places where flow slows, where tension builds, where clots like to wait. I often think of blueberries as gatekeepers, positioned at the narrowest turns in your circulation, making sure nothing stays that shouldn't, not with force, but with watchfulness, with presence. One man said, "I started adding blueberries to my breakfast, just because I liked the taste. But after a while, I noticed my fingers weren't cold anymore. My hands looked pinker, like I was finally reaching myself again." That's what real nourishment feels like, not dramatic, but deeply present. Add them to warm oats, drop them into yogurt, freeze them, and let them thaw slowly on your tongue. Each one is like a tiny blue guardian, moving through your body to remind it you're still safe to circulate. Because sometimes what clogs us isn't just cholesterol, but worry, stillness, stuck emotion. And what clears us might not be medicine in a bottle, but a berry in your bowl. Let blueberries be your quiet protection, one spoon at a time. Pomegranate, the ruby. That clears the path. Some fruits stain your fingers. Pomegranate stains your memory. Its seeds, like tiny rubies, don't rush. You open them slowly. You work for each one. And maybe that's the lesson. Clearing takes care. Inside each jewel is a cascade of polyphenols, compounds that don't push but gently dissolve the rough edges inside your vessels. They reduce plaque, thin the places where blood moves sluggish, ease the narrow corridors where clots love to gather. I think of pomegranate as a river in red silk, not fast but consistent, not loud but deeply persuasive. One woman told me, "I drink a glass of pomegranate juice before I sleep, not because it's sweet, but because it feels like closure, like my blood gets one last clean sweep before I rest." And she's right. That's what this fruit does. It clears not just the blood, but the clutter of the day. You can eat the seeds slowly, one by one, like a meditation. Or sip the juice, unhurried. Let it coat your mouth. Let it reach the places that medicine can't name, but your body still remembers. Because your blood doesn't just carry oxygen, it carries stories. And pomegranate, in its own quiet way, helps you release what no longer needs to stay. Let the river run clear again. Let it turn red with softness. There are things the body never says out loud, only holds, like pressure behind the knees, tightness in the chest. A rhythm that once flowed, now whispers through narrower spaces. You've carried so much, worry, obligation, even love when it came with weight. And your blood, it remembered. It slowed not out of failure, but out of protection. But what if this is the moment you give it something new? Not control, not effort, just the permission to move, one fruit at a time, one ritual, one quiet act of trust between you and your vessels. Maybe healing doesn't begin with a breakthrough, but with a soft shift, a berry at breakfast, a slice of ruby in your palm, a breath you didn't realize you were holding. Released. Because your blood doesn't need force, it needs flow. It needs you, not in urgency but in rhythm. Let it move again, gently, daily, like it always wanted to. Choose one fruit, not because you should, but because your body may be ready to move again, gently. Let it be watermelon after your morning walk, or a few frozen grapes when the day feels heavy. Maybe just pomegranate juice before sleep. Not for results, but for release. If one of them met you, in your breath, your hands, or the way you stood up without stiffness, tell us. Which fruit felt like it found you where something had been stuck? And if someone in your life is still moving against pressure, internal or emotional, send this to them as a quiet reminder that softness is still a way forward because your blood remembered how to flow. Now, maybe someone else's can too.